Okay. Okay, somehow lately I've been picking like the darkest days to film, so excuse all this mess in color temperature with the light. Can you guess where I am still? Hello YouTube. A little update on my scar. My scar is healing so fast, I feel like a Wolverine. I did not expect it to go away so fast. It's gonna be 3 weeks in a couple of days, and it already almost, I mean, it didn't disappear completely, obviously, but we're on our way there, you know. Hopefully in like a couple more weeks it's gonna be even less visible. It's not painful anymore. I can still feel it a little bit, but it is what it is. For how it looked from the very beginning, like a second fucking mouth, now it looks so much better. One thing I wanted to talk about today dawned on me recently when I was talking to one of my friends, and we were talking about 2025, and I started the sentence with, "This year has been this and this and that." And I'm realizing that I'm using has been about 2025, because it's almost over. It still like doesn't sit quite right with me, because in my head it just started. I guess, I mean, the older you get, obviously, the faster time starts passing. It made me think about this year. That it's almost over, and now in a month we will all have to kind of do our little reflection portion before we start the new year, draw our conclusions, lessons that we've learned this year. And I feel like maybe people start doing it a bit later in December, but here I am. For me, it always comes a bit early, this reflection part, because also my birthday is in a week. And it's like a double reflection for me. It's like the end is coming to an end, and also a year of my life, another year of my life is coming to an end. It's like a double reflection period for me. And I am turning 27 next week, which is even crazier to say out loud. I never thought, have you ever like thought to yourself as a kid, when you are, I don't know, 10 years old, 12, to you, the fact that you one day can turn 20 years old or 30 years old or then 50 years old is so untangible. It's so like far, it's like not in your reality, right? The fact that you one day will turn X amount of years and become an adult. So I still kind of feel like that little kid, like a little 13-year-old girl on the inside. Like I can still feel her presence. She's still there, partially. But now I'm like this whole 27-year-old woman. And I'm saying this about myself. I'm 27. And now, like being in my late 20s, it's also crazy to think that I'm closer to 30 than I am to 20 now. People who are in their 30s and in their 40s listening to this video now, they're like, girl, stop. Shut up. You don't even know like what's in store for you later on, like 10 years. But all of this to say, I started thinking about how this year went, what kind of things happened in my life and what kind of transformations I went through. You know, the conclusion I came to is that I did good this year. Overall, I think I did pretty fucking good. I feel like life brought me to a point in my life where I had to turn on my fighter mode, which is good. I feel like maybe before I wasn't stressed enough and I was all like, oh my God, this life is so hard. Oh my God, poor me. This year, some shit went down that just, you know, it kind of put me in a state of mind where I'm like, okay, bitch, I don't have time to whine about this anymore. I don't have time to complain. I'm just gonna go out there and do it and like deal with all the shit that life is throwing at me. I don't have time to doubt myself anymore. I don't have time to be insecure. You know what I've also noticed? The insecurities part is very fucking big in this whole kind of story. I feel like one thing I started noticing this year is that I'm so insecure that I feel like if my soul had skin, yeah, and if insecurities were pimples, my soul would be covered in fucking acne, like fully. That's how insecure I am. And I need to do something about it. And actually I started doing something about it this year. You know, I feel like maybe it's a stage in the life that people go through in their late 20s, but I guess you start realizing how much it affects your life negatively, all your insecurities, but just being aware of them already helps so much, because you can kind of like fight it, right? Your insecurities is your soul acne. And now I've basically went out, mentally and bought a bunch of anti-acne creams for my soul. And that's what I'm gonna do. And that's what I'm gonna work on throughout the next year as well. I'm gonna create my soul care routine, and we're slowly gonna start getting rid of pimple insecurities because they've been really, really poisoning my life for the last, God knows how long, like since this is my late teenage years. I'm too old to be that insecure. That's one thing. I also did good this year because life has thrown so many challenges at me, and I faced them with grace and integrity, and I finally started choosing myself, putting myself first instead of other people, as harsh as it may sound. The other day, there was this really funny story, actually. So, if you remember, in my past life, I was, or still am, kind of a photographer, right? You know, I don't take photos at the moment, but basically I have some photos out there, and recently American Vogue reached out to me, and they wanted to publish one of my photos. They wanted to include one of my photos in their articles on their website. And so they reach out to me and they're like, hey, we saw this photo that you've uploaded to our website, to the Photo Vogue. We're just letting you know that we want to use it for our article. We'd be happy to answer any of your questions, whatever. You know, and this whole email, like if you would have told me maybe 10 years ago, if I would have received this kind of email like 10 years ago, being like a young aspiring photographer, I would pee my pants. I would be like, oh my God, Vogue wants to publish my image on their website. Oh my God, such a big deal. I would have told them, yes, please take all my photos, publish them anywhere you want. Mind you, I'm not a young and aspiring photographer anymore. I have a few scars from life in that area. My first thought was, when I received that email, is, am I gonna get compensated for it? Because this is, you know, this is like an intellectual creative property of mine, right? I'm not gonna let no one take advantage of me, even if it's fucking Vogue. I've done my fair share of free publishing for some bullshit where I wouldn't receive anything for my work and my efforts, obviously, because I take my work very seriously. It sounded like Vogue just reached out to me and they notified me that they will use my image, whether I want to publish with them or not, without my permission. And then there was also no mention of the compensation. So I put my guard up. I'm like, excuse me, I know you have a fancy name, Vogue, yeah, but what am I getting out of this? And so, you know, I write this really passive-aggressive email to them, which, I mean, later on, obviously, like, I felt kind of bad a little bit even that I did, but honestly, like, you should have told me earlier, bitch, if you didn't want me to be that aggressive towards you. But so I basically write them back like, hey, it sounds like you're gonna use it whether I want it or not. And also, like, maybe ask me first whether I want to get published with you or not. And then also, is there some sort of compensation? Because again, from your email, it doesn't say anything. So it sounds like there's nothing. You're just notifying me that you're gonna use it. And if you ask me, I think that's kind of fucked up. And I actually wrote it. I wrote it in the exact like phrasing. I felt so badass. And then obviously I received an email back from them. They're like, hey, no, if you have anything against us publishing your image, of course we won't publish it. And there is a compensation. You know, we offer this and that for each image that we publish. And then, yeah, I felt bad because obviously they gave me like a full explanation. And I said, okay, yeah, go ahead, publish it. If you want to pay me, that's fine. A couple of people told me like, oh my God, you should have just shut up and let them publish your thing. No, I'm not at that age anymore. I am gonna stand up for my work because I've put so much effort and pain and nerves and time and money into it. So no, bitch, you can't publish it for free even if you're fucking Vogue. And I felt really proud of myself that I stood up for myself to fucking Vogue. That was good. I did good. And then all the shit with my health that happened this year, obviously, you know, you can, if you're not aware of the details, you can check out the previous video on my channel. And I feel like I took it like a fighter. I took it like a samurai, and I still remained positive after all. I still remained in the same kind of mindset that it's not gonna bring me down. If anything, I just have a bunch of funny stories to tell my friends. I did good this year. Again, this is gonna be like a little mantra of today. I did good this year because I finally had the balls to quit a lot of things that were being very toxic in my life. My job, my previous job now, the university that I went to, the place where I used to live, everything that's been kind of poisoning my life. I had finally the courage and the balls to quit. I also, big fucking win, I also got my documents done. I got my residence permit in the EU, the European Union, and that's been my goal for the past 8 years, and I finally reached it. If you're a subscriber, you are aware of that already because I made a separate video on it. But yeah, this is just, again, it's been rough, man. It's been a rough year. Like, there has been a lot of changes, but to be honest, you know what, again, I'm talking about this thing almost in every video, I feel like now. But honestly, like, be careful what you wish for, because life is gonna give that to you. And you know what, last New Year's Eve, I wished for life to bring a lot of changes in my life. And I wished to quit my job and like really turn my life around. And I did. And life gave me exactly what I asked for. So this year, again, I'm gonna be very mindful and I'm gonna be really careful with what I'm wishing for this year. Because everything happened exactly, not exactly the way I wanted it, but exactly what I asked for happened basically. I feel like my goal for next year is to trust life more and actually let things unfold by themselves and not push it too hard. Because I'm the kind of person who likes to get what I want, who works really hard to get what she wants. And sometimes it's really hard for me to like stop and reevaluate. I just like pushing overly over the board sometimes. And that's like my weakness. I should stop doing that. If something is not working out, I should just take a step back, let it go, reevaluate, and continue in a different direction. Also, like, a good thing to mention is I've been pretty fucking consistent with this YouTube thing. It's been a year and a half since I started doing YouTube consistently. And yes, there have been maybe like 1 or 2, like 2 or 3 months during this year where I wasn't uploading anything. But overall, I keep coming back to it. I keep uploading and I keep dedicating my time to it, and it became such a big part of my life. It's really hard to not notice it anymore. It's like whenever I don't upload for several weeks, I'm like, okay, something's wrong. I need to upload something. Kind of feels unnatural when I don't upload anything. And I'm really happy about that, even though I've kind of chilled a little bit. You know, I came a long way since I started this whole thing. I started this channel about like photography and art, and it just ended up being this very personal podcast even like thing. But I'm really happy with that, you know. And like in the last couple of months, it's kind of funny that I've been losing followers, which was an obvious turn of events since I started going in the completely different direction. And obviously that resulted into a lot of people unsubscribing because I'm doing, you know, a different thing now. But that never like made me unhappy or like sad. It never shrinked my like will or like desire to upload. You know, I feel like now I finally came to this lane where I'm comfortable with what I'm doing, and I feel like I can never run out of ideas in terms of like what to talk about. The progression of my YouTube has been also quite steady, even though it was rocky here and there, you know, throughout the year. But I'm like, something's happening. I don't know, by itself somehow. Like I just let things go. I'm not as active, obviously, as when I started. I was like uploading 3 videos a week consistently, which was crazy. But I feel like now, obviously, I just feel more comfortable with YouTube, and it became like a part of my like monthly, weekly habit, whatever. If I'm not uploading a full-length video, I'm uploading a short here and there, and you know, I just keep it up. I keep it alive. We'll see where it ends up. If it doesn't end up anywhere, that's fine too. Like, this has been kind of my outlet for expressing myself in a very pure way. Like, there are no expectations here, and there are no extremely like high goals to fulfill. Again, I'm just using it to outlet for my creative, humanly personal expression, if you will. That I'm also really proud of, that this thing is still going. It's been a year and a half. To be honest, I never thought it would go on for that long. I thought, I had doubts that I would just like drop everything and then never come back to it ever again. I'm doing good. Better than I thought I would do. And I'm really grateful for that. I am really excited for what's to come, because if I can deal with all the shit that went on for the past year, or like actually 2 years, if I think about it, I'll be fine. Like, if it's gonna be better than these 2 years, I'm good. Before I go, one little story I want to tell you actually that may, I don't know, help some of you. Recently, when I was back home with my family, I got to play this board game, and it's called Cash Flow. I'm sure if you're like a finance nerd or like a personal development kind of nerd, like you're aware of this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Poor Dad, Rich Dad, something like that, by Robert Kiyosaki. And so because this book has been this huge bestseller, whatever, iconic piece of literature, he released like a board game, like a financial board game related to that book. And so my mom has it, and my mom is a brilliant host at this game. She's hosting that game from time to time, and actually people come and like pay money for her to like host this game. And so we decided to kind of do it in a very homely domestic setting this time. Mind you, I haven't played this game since I was like 14, and we've been playing this game from time to time my whole life since I remember, like my parents and their friends and whatever. Because it's a good reflection tool if you think about it. It shows you how you deal with money and like unexpected things and like planning in real life. It just basically manifests itself on the board and shows you what kind of a decision maker you are and how you're dealing with like certain circumstances, events that are happening in your life. Again, an awesome reflection tool. I highly recommend you play it at least once in your life. And so we decided to play this game again because I haven't played it for a while. We played it twice on 2 different days. It was 6 players in total, I think, and I won both games. And I wasn't expecting that because I was never a winner in this game. I think maybe it was like my first time ever in my life to win this game, because I always thought it was like complicated for adults, and like I was a stupid kid who didn't really understand much. But this has been such an amazing experience because I saw like the way I move and the way I make decisions. And also, again, like my mom being a host, she's also a psychotherapist. And whenever, she's kind of analyzing players during the game and reveals things about them and their strategies to them. And it's so easy to be blind to it because it's something that you do. It's something that you don't really notice. You just do things the way you do things, right? This time, I won both games. I kind of deployed without even realizing like the same strategy in both games, and I won. And the strategy is steady and slow, slow and steady, because you cannot win any other way. If you're making rash decisions, if you're being very unrealistic with your expectations, if you are throwing money around like this, then there's no way of winning. You have to be diligent, you have to be patient, you have to be steady. Why I started talking about this game? Because I want to translate this approach this year to my real life. Take it slow, but do things every day. Diligent, steady, pay attention when life throws shit at me, whether it's good or bad. If this kind of thinking brought me to winning on the board, there's no way it's not gonna bring the same in real life. So, even if it doesn't, that's fine. At least we're gonna do this little experiment and we'll see where I end up, My advice for you today, play this game. If you've never played it, it's amazing. You'll learn a lot about yourself. So yeah, this is, I guess, my little reflection video for this year. I recommend you do your portion of reflection, because people who don't reflect on their life and their actions and their decisions tend to repeat their mistakes. Make sure you do that. Thank you so much for hearing me out, and thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day, evening, morning, night, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.